Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Canvas Live. Canvas Live sessions are presented by Canvas community members and Instructure employees, and our goal is to help Canvas users improve and enhance their teaching and learning with Canvas. We are absolutely delighted this morning to be able to present to you a session that is part of the CanvasCon IUPUI extended series. This morning we have with us Kevin Self, and Kevin is going to talk to us about SAMR and the 4 C's. With that, I'll turn the microphone over to Kevin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SAMR and the 4 C's, a guide to redefining education. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to click on the link that you see below and actually complete this survey. What we want you to do today is we want to really define what SAMR is and then talk about how that incorporates into the 4 C's. If you're not familiar with the 4 C's are critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. What do we want kids to do with technology? Obviously, when you're looking at technology, are we doing things in our classroom that are just using technology, or are we using the technology to really help raise the bar for our students? If you're looking for making a presentation, doing a blog, publishing different things, designing flip charts, producing video, you're probably just doing that as a supplement to what's taking place in your classroom. Right answers that we're looking for in this particular case are raising awareness, starting conversations, finding answers, maybe doing some collaboration, which that's one of our 4 C things. I like reaching out to community members. That's something that I like to add in as the 5th C in this process. You know, technology is one of those things where we teach with it, but are we really taking and using it in a positive way to really help drive our instruction in doing those kind of things? What is SAMR? SAMR, the S in SAMR is substitution. This is where you're taking something that you're already doing in the classroom and using the technology aspect of things, but you're really not doing anything different. I'll use this as an example. When I was a student in high school, we still had typewriters. And as we're going along, you take and you type up your paper, you click enter, you rip out the paper, you hand it in to the teacher. Computers came along and we started using WordPerfect and different things like that. Well, now I'm using a computer to take and do it, and I take and type it on a screen instead of taking and typing it on a paper. I take that and print it. I still hand it in to the teacher. That's substitution. The next part of it is augmentation. This is where tech acts as a direct tool substitute with some functional improvement. Now let's take that same idea that I just used where I was typing a paper on a typewriter. Unless you had a really advanced typewriter at that point in time that had a very limited amount of spell check involved, if you made a mistake, you really had to go and read that paper, use your whiteout, go back, take and type it in. With the computer aspect of things, when that WordPerfect came along, do the spell check for you. And that was really awesome. You could take and type, hit a button, and it would identify where that word was wrong and give you some choices as far as being able to substitute your mistake in for what was correct. That was a functional improvement that took place. And that's what augmentation all is about. Modification. This is where tech allows significant task redesign. Kind of think about how you, again, we'll use the paper as the example here. I'm taking and typing. There's nothing really that I can do with it. With that modification aspect of things, maybe now I can take and type my paper out and put it into a blog where people can actually take and see it and read it. And then the redefinition aspect of things, this is where instead of taking and writing a paper, maybe I'm creating a video of the various different things that I'm researching, and I post that video onto YouTube, which, again, we've taken that aspect of taking a paper and we've completely changed it over into a YouTube video that is still covering the same thing, but it allows the students the opportunity to take and be creative, taking and redefining that. Things that were previously inconceivable and utilizing that as an opportunity for learning. This is kind of a very, very silly picture utilizing one of our favorite coffee shops. It's the SAMR model in relationship with coffee. Substitution. Technology acts as a direct tool to substitute with no functional change. It's just a basic plain cup of coffee. No cream, no sugar, no whipped cream on the top, nothing. Plain old coffee. If we're looking at that augmentation piece, now we've added and we've given it a little bit of foam. We've now made it a latte. The modification, instead of having that plain coffee at the beginning, instead of having that latte, we're taking and adding in a little bit of caramel. We're adding in some a little bit of that foam that goes along with it. We now have something that tastes a lot different than what that coffee was at the very beginning. And then that redefinition aspect, we all know that when fall comes along, we love to have that pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. In this particular case, we've gone from coffee to something that completely, positively is changed, but still gives us that kick that we need to get started. Now, are you still confused about what SAMR is? Please watch this short video.
Every day, teachers are designing activities to target higher order thinking skills in order to engage students in rich learning experiences. But integrating technology adds a whole new layer to teaching and learning. How can technology transform your learning design? Dr. Ruben Fuentedura developed the SAMR model as a way for teachers to evaluate how they are incorporating technology into their instructional practice. You can use SAMR to reflect upon how you are integrating technology into your classroom. Is it an act of substitution, augmentation, modification, or redefinition? Dr. Fuentedura likens his model to moving up a ladder. The model includes a dotted line that represents the threshold where you shift from using technology to enhance learning to using it to transform learning. Transforming learning promotes higher order thinking skills, such as analyzing, evaluating, and creating, which are essential to Common Core state standards in 21st century learning. So, how can you teach above the line? Let's take a look at an example of a classroom task and how it evolves through the lens of SAMR. In substitution, technology acts as a direct tool substitute with no real functional change to the task. For example, take creative writing. What if you had students write a story using a word processing program? In this case, students are substituting a handwritten story for a typed story. The task is the same with no real change in student engagement. In augmentation, technology still substitutes, but with some functional improvements. What if you took the same creative writing assignment and had students use a word processing program? They could use features such as spell check and tools for formatting. Again, the story writing task is the same, but the technology augments it with enhanced productivity. In modification, technology should allow for significant task redesign. Take the same creative writing assignment and have students use Google Docs to write their stories. Students can then share these stories with peers and provide real-time feedback. Here, technology has significantly modified the original task by introducing the benefits of student collaboration. At the top stage, Redefinition. Technology allows for the creation of entirely new tasks that were previously inconceivable. What if students transform their written stories into multimedia productions? Students film scenes, edit clips, and add music. They can publish the videos and receive feedback from voices across the globe. In this case, technology redefines the story writing task to include media creation, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. So, how can you use SAMR to reflect upon transforming your learning design? Pentadora offers reflection questions to help you move up the SAMR ladder and shift how you are designing learning experiences. For instance, ask yourself, what will I gain by replacing the older technology with the new technology? Have I added an improvement to the task process that could not be accomplished with the older technology at a fundamental level? Does this modification fundamentally depend upon the new technology? How is the new task uniquely made possible by the new technology? These are just a few of the questions you can ask yourself as you evaluate the design of a classroom task. And consider that not all technology integration is created equal. Ultimately, SAMR can help you evaluate your use of technology and design tasks that target higher order thinking skills, engage students in rich learning experiences, and impact student achievement.
All right. Thanks for watching that. Now we're going to kind of talk about how we can do substitution in the classroom and how Canvas will help us out with that and how this substitution relates to those 4 C's. So, things that I'd like for you to think about as you're going through this content today is, what are some suggestions that you have for your content? How can you substitute your instruction using technology in your instructional practices, and how are you doing this already? So take just a moment, and if you'd like to, go ahead and type in some ideas that maybe you have, and we'll help, hopefully we can share these out as we kind of go along. So I'll give you just a minute to think about this, and then I'll give you some suggestions and some ideas of how this can be done in different subject areas.
All right, Kevin, we don't have any so far, so we can keep going.
Okay. As far as the substituting this into my particular classroom, I'm a science teacher at Pike High School in Indianapolis, and how I have used technology in my classroom, very basic way, is having my students take and type up lab reports instead of taking and handwriting them and turning those into me. That's one way that I use substitution with the technology aspect. Is it creative? Not necessarily. Does it allow a collaboration aspect? That's where things kind of depend. Actually take and allow the students to do some peer editing, which that does happen periodically in my class. Aspect, not necessarily a lot of things going on with that. Is it creative? No, it isn't. Does it make my students think critically? Maybe. It's when you're taking and writing things down on a sheet of paper, a lot of times you're just processing your thoughts. When you're taking and putting something into a word processing document, you know that that must be pretty important, that I need to use complete sentences, that I really need to think about what is going on instead of just writing down random thoughts. So that is an area where maybe substitution will help with some of your instruction. Augmentation. Again, how are you augmenting your instruction using technology in your instructional practices, and how are you doing this already? Now, you'll notice on here that we have a Nearpod activity. Nearpod is an opportunity, it's an online program where you can pose questions and have students take and answer things via text, which is kind of fun. Does it create a communication piece? Absolutely. Does it allow for collaboration to take place? Yes, it sure does. Is it creative? Maybe. Again, are you doing a lot of those critical thinking skills that go along with it? Maybe, maybe not. Again, it kind of depends on what the content is that you're actually using for your class. Again, how am I substituting in my classroom right now? What is making things a little bit better in my classroom right now? Again, going back to lab reports and those kind of things, having that opportunity to use the spell check, the grammar check. I use technology for taking and recording lab results, taking and writing down test data. You can use Google Numbers, or I'm sorry, Google Sheets. Let me get that correct. If you're using an iPad, you can use Numbers. And obviously, if you're using a Windows device, Excel works awesome for this. They can create graphs from it. Again, things that were not necessarily capable of being done in the past that we're now able to do because of the aspect of the technology that goes into it. Modification. How can you modify your instruction using technology in your instructional practice? And again, how are you doing this already? Again, think about those for just a second. Write down some ideas if you need to stop the video. If you're joining us later on, take time to think about how modification can take place in your classroom. What I'm doing in my classroom as a project for this upcoming school year is I am creating a 3-month project-based learning activity. And during that 3-month project, students are going to be using Canvas to go through and learn different aspects of the content that I normally would be teaching in the classroom, but I'm allowing the students the opportunity to kind of do it in a flipped classroom type of setting. Canvas is awesome for doing that. Having that online content where students have the access to it at any time. If they want to access it at 3 a.m. in the morning, they can access it at 3 a.m. in the morning. If they want to take and do a discussion with group members, they have that opportunity to do that. That critical thinking aspect, where I can go on and give them a link that goes to, let's say, Khan Academy, where they can learn more about forces, acceleration, velocity. Maybe I am a history teacher and I want to learn more about the Holocaust. Canvas allows us to take and be able to put in content that can allow for our students to be able to go and look at those kind of things. Years past, we didn't have that opportunity. All we had was a textbook. And maybe we took our students down to the library and allowed them to be able to go and do some reading in a book on how to learn material on, again, like the Holocaust or World War II or Civil War, et cetera, et cetera. Today, we have the internet as that opportunity, and that is an area where we've been able to modify our instruction. Again, Canvas offers that opportunity to be able to do that. And now we're to redefinition. What are some suggestions for your content? How can you redefine your class utilizing technology in your instructional practice? And are you doing this already? Again, Canvas allows us that opportunity to really hit on those 4C things: critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. In Canvas, you can have a discussion where that collaboration is taking place. Communication. Canvas is great for communication purposes. It allows me to be able to communicate with my students. It allows my students to be able to communicate with me. Being creative. Again, in Canvas, I can create or upload things that I've created. Maybe I've created a short video. Maybe I am putting together a voice thread, great program. A Flipgrid where I take and throw out a question to my students, and my students have to respond with a video response that's shared with all of my students. You know, technology is really an awesome piece to your classroom, especially for those students that really hesitate to take and raise their hands. They're shy. Maybe they lack a little bit of self-confidence in taking and throwing out an answer. With Canvas and with other tools, we now have the opportunity for that shy student, that student that lacks that confidence, to be able to really shine and be able to get that information to me so I know that they get it. Again, that can all be done through Canvas, and it's really, really a great opportunity. So using technology. Here is a slide that shows how technology is used and then how we integrate the technology into the classroom. I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds to kind of read through this and kind of give me your thoughts. I have a discussion with several of my colleagues here in Pike Township schools, and we talk about using technology in the classroom for teaching purposes. Do we have that same conversation that takes place with using textbooks? Do we say we're using textbooks to learn material in our classrooms? No, they're just learning material in the classrooms. We need to get to a point where technology is in that same conversation, where it is a seamless transition between the use of technology in that classroom to where it's just like taking and pulling out a book for those of us that remember that aspect of things. You know, technology shouldn't be something that is thought about. We just take and pull out our device and away we go. Now, my school right now, we're not a one-to-one school. And so with that technology piece, we still have to go to a computer lab. I have to bring in iPads into the classroom. I have to go and get some Chromebooks. Or maybe we're going to our library where we have Windows-based devices. Our goal in our school district is that we're going to be one-to-one at the beginning of the 2018-19 school year. My goal is when that happens, is that when I say we're going to do something, our kids just automatically pull out that technology piece and away we go. It's not something, okay, we have to pull out our technology today to use. So that SAMR model that we've been talking about over the course of this last 27 minutes or so, we really want it to be a smooth transition through that process, from the S of substitution all the way to that redefinition, and creating the culture in our schools, in our classrooms, where that is just, it's expected. So let's review. The substitution is where we're doing using technology as a direct tool with no functional change. Augmentation, we do have some functional improvement. Again, going back to our word processor, adding that spell check, adding that grammar check, using the thesaurus. Modification, maybe I can take and share out my ideas through a Google Doc. And redefinition, creating something that we never thought of in the past. What questions do you have for me at this point?
To everyone who is attending now, please feel free to post any questions that you have for Kevin in the comments section of the live stream. And if you think of something later, you can post questions that you have subsequently in the comments section of the event in the Canvas community. So we're going to take a moment now to give you a chance to marshal your thoughts and post your questions. And while you're doing that, I just want to extend a huge thank you to Kevin Self for his generosity in sharing this presentation with us this morning. So we're just going to take one more moment to see if anyone has any questions, anyone who's watching now. And of course, if you're watching the recording, you can always post your follow-up questions in the comments section of the Canvas community in the event page, and we will make sure that they get addressed. So we'll just take a moment now. Well, Kevin, and well, live audience, it looks like we don't have any questions at this time. So I want to say thank you so much to Kevin for giving us this comprehensive and thorough presentation on SAMR and the 4 Cs. And I would like to remind everyone watching that you too can get involved in Canvas Live. You can navigate to live.canvaslms.com and follow it so that you're notified of upcoming events. You can join the Canvas Live user group in the community, which gives you the opportunity to collaborate on presentations with other users. And you can hang out in our Canvas chat rooms where you can connect in real time with other Canvas users. So I would like to thank Kevin and thank our audience, everyone who's attending, and I would wish everyone a fine day. Thank you.